Good morning, my friends, my students, my seekers of success. Today, we're going to embark on a journey into the minds, the habits, and the lives of the successful and the unsuccessful. And let me tell you up front, this journey has the power to change everything for you. Yes, everything. Because once you understand the difference between these two groups of people, you'll have the blueprint to redesign your life, your destiny, and even your legacy. Are you ready for that? Now, let's start with a foundational truth. Success isn't accidental. It isn't a gift reserved for a lucky few. Success is deliberate. It's predictable. It's a process. And the beautiful thing about a process is that anyone can follow it. That's right. Anyone. That means you sitting there wondering if you've got what it takes. Guess what? You do. But here's the catch. You've got to make a choice. Because success and failure are simply the results of the choices we make every single day. Yes, every single day. You see, successful people and unsuccessful people aren't separated by talent or intelligence or resources. No. They're separated by habits, by mindset, by discipline. They're separated by the small, seemingly insignificant decisions made moment by moment. Imagine this: two people start at the same place with the same opportunities. One ends up thriving, building a life of abundance, joy, and purpose. The other, stuck, frustrated, wondering why life feels like an uphill battle. Why? The difference lies in their choices. And today we're going to dissect those choices together. Now let me ask you a question. Have you ever found yourself thinking, why do some people seem to have all the luck? Or maybe, how come they're succeeding while I'm struggling? Let me tell you something that will set you free. It's not luck. It's not some cosmic favor. It's not even about working harder. It's about working smarter, thinking differently, and living intentionally. Successful people, my friends, aren't perfect. They don't have all the answers. But what they do have is an unshakable commitment to growth. They've learned to embrace discipline. They've mastered the art of consistency. They've chosen to focus on what's important instead of what's convenient. And let me tell you something else. Success leaves clues. That's why you're here today, because you're about to uncover those clues one by one. But before we dive in, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Promise me you'll keep an open mind. Promise me you'll listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. Because if you're willing to listen deeply, you'll hear something in these words that could spark a transformation in your life. And I want that for you. I truly do. Now let's paint a picture together. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads. To your left, you see a winding path, shaded, uncertain, maybe even intimidating. This is the path of success. It's not crowded because it requires effort, discipline, and patience. But let me tell you, the view from the top of this path, it's breathtaking. To your right, you see another path. It's wide, flat, easy to walk. It's the path most people take. But here's the truth. That path leads nowhere. It's deceptive. It's the road of shortcuts, of neglect, of excuses. Which path are you choosing today? Friends, the path to success begins with awareness. Awareness of where you are, awareness of where you want to go, and awareness of what it takes to get there. And here's the hard truth. Most people don't take the time to get clear on any of these things. Most people drift through life without a map, without a compass, without a destination. But successful people, they're intentional. They know what they want, why they want it, and how they're going to achieve it. Let me give you an example. Think about a garden. If you don't plant the seeds you want, weeds will grow. It's inevitable. Life works the same way. If you're not intentional about your thoughts, your habits, your actions, your goals, guess what? Neglect takes over. And neglect, my friends, is the root of failure. But here's the good news. You can decide to plant the seeds of success starting today. You can nurture them, water them, and watch them grow. Because every choice you make is a seed. Every habit you develop is a seed. Every action you take is a seed. And the harvest? Oh, the harvest is worth it. So what separates the successful from the unsuccessful? It's not the big things, my friends. It's the small things. It's the daily disciplines. It's the commitment to learning, growing, and persevering. Successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not. They're willing to wake up early, to sacrifice momentary comfort for lasting fulfillment, to keep going when the going gets tough. But let me tell you this, success isn't about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about persistence. It's about resilience. It's about getting back up every time you fall. Because you will fall. Oh yes, you will. But every fall is an opportunity to rise stronger, wiser, better. Now, as we dive into this talk, I want you to do something for me. Think about your life. I think about the choices you've been making. Are they moving you closer to your goals or farther away? Are you planting seeds of success or allowing weeds of neglect to take over? Be honest with yourself, because self-awareness is the first step to transformation. Let me close this introduction with a powerful thought. Your life is your responsibility. No one else's. Not your parents, not your boss, not your circumstances. It's yours. And that's the most liberating truth you'll ever hear. Because if it's your responsibility, that means you have the power to change it. Starting today, starting right now. So buckle up, my friends. Get ready to take notes, to reflect, to make decisions that will shape your future. Because today we're not just talking about success, we're unlocking it. Let's dive in. Number 1, successful people focus on solutions. Unsuccessful people dwell on problems. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to picture a moment in your life when you faced a problem. A challenge so daunting, so overwhelming that it felt like the weight of the world was pressing down on your shoulders. Maybe it was a financial struggle. Maybe it was a career setback, a health crisis, or even a relationship that went sour. We've all been there, haven't we? Now, here's the critical question. When you faced that problem, what did you do? Did you freeze, overwhelmed by the enormity of it? Did you complain about how unfair life is, about how other people have it easier? Or did you pause, take a deep breath, and start looking for a way forward? That, my friends, is the fundamental difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. Successful people focus on solutions. They see every problem as an opportunity, an invitation to grow, to learn, and to rise. Unsuccessful people, they dwell on the problem. They let it consume them, paralyze them, and eventually define them. Today we're going to unpack this in a way that will not just inform you but transform you. By the end of this conversation, you'll walk away with the mindset and tools to start focusing on solutions like never before. The first step to focusing on solutions is changing how you see yourself. Successful people refuse to see themselves as victims. They understand that while they can't always control what happens to them, they can always control how they respond. Think about Thomas Edison. When his factory burned down in 1914, destroying years of hard work, do you know what he said? He didn't cry or complain. Instead, he famously told his son, "Go get your mother and her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again." The next day, Edison started rebuilding. He saw the fire not as the end, but as a chance to start anew. Here's what I want you to take away. Successful people don't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What's next?" Say it with me, what's next? Write it down, underline it, live it. Let me tell you about the power of questions. When faced with a challenge, unsuccessful people ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Successful people ask, "What can I do about it?" You see, your brain is like a supercomputer, and the questions you ask are the programming. If you ask negative questions, you'll get negative answers. Why is this happening to me? Will yield answers like, because you're not good enough, because life is unfair, because you're unlucky. But when you ask, "What can I do about this?" your brain starts searching for solutions. Try it right now. Think of a challenge you're facing. Now ask yourself, "What can I do about it?" Write down every idea, no matter how small or crazy it seems. You'll be amazed at the shift in your mindset. Let me share a little secret with you. What you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, they'll grow in your mind until they feel insurmountable. But if you focus on solutions, they'll start to take shape, gaining momentum until they become reality. Here's a story that illustrates this perfectly. There's a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbor came by and said, "What bad luck." The farmer replied, "Maybe." A few days later, the horse returned with a group of wild horses. The neighbor said, "What good luck." The farmer said, "Maybe." Later, the farmer's son tried to tame one of the wild horses and broke his leg. The neighbor said, "What bad luck." The farmer said, "Maybe." Then the army came to recruit young men for war, but passed over the farmer's son because of his injury. The neighbor said, "What good luck." And the farmer said, "Maybe." The moral: life will throw challenges and opportunities your way. It's your focus that determines whether you see them as setbacks or setups for success. Successful people keep their eyes on the prize. They don't waste time labeling events as good or bad. They ask, "How can I use this?" Here's another critical difference. Successful people don't just think about solutions, they act on them. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't act, they're worthless. Execution is the bridge between problems and solutions. Consider the story of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She didn't just sit around complaining about how uncomfortable women's undergarments were. She took action. With no background in fashion or business, she started designing her own product. Today, she's a billionaire. Why? Because she focused on a solution and acted on it. What's the solution you've been thinking about but not acting on? Write it down right now. Commit to taking one small step toward it today. Remember, imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. Now, I want to address something important. When you're in the thick of a problem, it's easy to get emotional. Angry, frustrated, overwhelmed. But successful people know how to reset their emotions and approach the situation calmly and logically. Here's a technique. When you're feeling overwhelmed, take a step back and breathe. Literally. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale for 4 seconds. This calms your nervous system and helps you think clearly. Once you're calm, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do right now to improve this situation? Successful people don't let emotions cloud their judgment. They use emotions as fuel to drive their actions. Successful people don't focus on what they lack. They focus on what they have and how they can use it. Let me repeat that. It's not resources that make you successful, it's resourcefulness. Take Oprah Winfrey. She grew up in poverty, endured abuse, and faced countless obstacles. But instead of focusing on what she didn't have, she focused on what she did have. Her voice, her determination, and her vision. Today, she's one of the most successful people in the world. What resources do you have right now that you're overlooking? Is it a skill, a relationship, or even just your time and energy? Start using what you have to create what you want. Here's something incredible. When you focus on solutions, you inspire others to do the same. Your energy becomes contagious. You create a ripple effect that spreads positivity and progress. Imagine a workplace where one person chooses to focus on solutions instead of problems. That attitude spreads, lifting the entire team. Now imagine a world where more people did that. You can be the start of that ripple effect. Finally, I want to leave you with a powerful perspective. Problems are gifts. They're life's way of challenging you to grow. Every problem you solve makes you stronger, smarter, and more capable. Think about it. The biggest breakthroughs in history came from solving problems. The Wright brothers faced the problem of human flight and gave us airplanes. Scientists faced the problem of disease and gave us vaccines. Entrepreneurs faced the problem of inefficiency and gave us innovations like smartphones and the internet. Your problems are your chance to contribute to the world in a meaningful way. Don't run from them. Embrace them, solve them, and in doing so, become the person you were meant to be. So my friends, the next time you face a challenge, remember this: successful people focus on solutions. They ask empowering questions, they take action, they manage their emotions, they use their resources, and they see problems not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones to their greatest achievements. The question is, which side do you want to be on? Are you ready to stop dwelling on problems and start focusing on solutions? If you are, then take the first step right now. Identify one challenge in your life, ask yourself what you can do about it, and commit to taking action today. Remember, the future belongs to the problem solvers. And I know you can be one of them. Number 2. Successful people celebrate the success of others. Unsuccessful people feel jealous or resentful. Picture this. A friend shares their exciting news with you. They landed their dream job, bought their first home, or achieved a major goal they've been working toward for years. What's your reaction? Do you feel a surge of genuine happiness for them, or does a twinge of jealousy creep in? Do you cheer them on wholeheartedly, or do you find yourself wondering, why not me? This, my friends, is a defining moment. It's in how you react to the success of others that your mindset is revealed, whether you're on the path of growth and abundance or stuck in a cycle of lack and resentment. Today, we're going to explore this profound difference between successful and unsuccessful people. We'll go deep, not just scratching the surface, but diving into the mindset, habits, and attitudes that set these two groups apart. By the end, you'll not only understand the power of celebrating others' success, but also feel inspired to practice it in your own life. Success is not a pie. The abundance V's, scarcity mindset. First, let's tackle a common misconception that keeps so many people stuck in jealousy and resentment. Many people operate as though success is a finite resource, like a pie. If someone else gets a big slice, it must mean there's less left for you, right? Wrong. Successful people understand that success is not a pie. It's an infinite resource. Think about this. When someone else succeeds, it doesn't diminish your potential. It highlights what's possible. It's proof that success can be achieved. If your neighbor builds a beautiful garden, does it mean you can't? No, it means it's possible to grow something extraordinary in the same soil, under the same sun. Unsuccessful people, on the other hand, let jealousy and resentment poison their minds. Instead of seeing others' success as inspiration, they see it as a threat. And here's the irony. That negativity doesn't hurt the successful person, it only hurts them. Jealousy robs them of energy, focus, and joy. Successful people understand this and choose to celebrate others instead. Now, why is it so important to celebrate others' success? Because what you focus on expands. When you celebrate success, whether it's yours or someone else's, you're training your brain to recognize and attract more of it. You're creating a mindset of positivity, possibility, and abundance. Let me share a story. There was a young entrepreneur who struggled for years to get his business off the ground. Every time he saw others succeed, he felt bitter. Why is it so easy for them? He'd think. Then one day, a mentor gave him a piece of advice that changed his life. Every time you see someone succeed, cheer for them like it's your own victory. What you celebrate, you invite into your life. He decided to try it. The next time he saw a competitor land a big client, he sent them a congratulatory message. He began to genuinely celebrate the wins of others, big and small, and something amazing happened. His own opportunities began to grow. Why? Because his new attitude made him magnetic. People wanted to work with him, refer him, and support him. Celebrating others transformed his life. Now let's flip the coin. What happens when you let jealousy take over? Jealousy is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It doesn't hurt the person you're jealous of. It hurts you. When you're jealous, your focus shifts from growth to comparison. You stop working on your own goals and start obsessing over what others have. You waste precious energy that could be used to create your own success. And worst of all, you close yourself off to opportunities. Why? Because people can sense jealousy. It repels them. No one wants to be around someone who begrudges their success. Ask yourself this. Has jealousy ever made you better? Has it ever helped you reach your goals? The answer is no, but celebrating others? That has the power to lift you higher. Here's a powerful truth. How you react to others' success is a reflection of how you feel about your own potential. If you believe in your ability to succeed, you'll cheer for others because their success doesn't threaten you. It inspires you, but if you doubt yourself, you'll feel resentful because their success reminds you of your own fears and insecurities. The next time you feel jealousy creeping in, pause and ask yourself, what does this feeling say about me? What belief about myself is causing this reaction? Use that moment as an opportunity for growth. Instead of resenting others, let their success challenge you to rise higher. Celebrating others doesn't just benefit you, it creates a ripple effect. When you cheer for someone, you lift their spirits, strengthen your relationship, and inspire them to keep going. And guess what? That energy comes back to you. The more you give, the more you receive. Imagine a workplace where everyone genuinely celebrated each other's wins. Imagine a family where every achievement, no matter how small, was met with encouragement and pride. Imagine a world where success was a collective celebration. You have the power to create that kind of environment, starting with your own attitude. Let's make this practical. How can you start celebrating others in your daily life? Acknowledge their wins. When someone shares good news, resist the urge to compare. Instead, say, "That's amazing. I'm so happy for you." Be specific. Instead of a generic congrats, point out something specific you admire. "I love how hard you worked for this. You deserve it." Share their success. If a friend starts a new business, tell others about it. Help spread the word. Celebrate in action. Go beyond words. Send a card, throw a small celebration, or give a thought gift. Reflect on what you can learn. Ask yourself, what can I learn from their success? What did they do well that I can apply to my own journey? Successful people surround themselves with others who celebrate, not compete. If you want to grow, align yourself with people who lift each other up. Be the kind of person who's genuinely happy for others, and you'll attract the same energy into your life. If you find yourself in an environment where jealousy and resentment are the norm, make a change. Either work to shift the culture or seek out new relationships. Life is too short to be surrounded by negativity. So, my friends, the next time you see someone succeed, remember this: their success is not your loss. It's your opportunity. It's a reminder of what's possible and a challenge to step up your own game. Celebrate their victory, and in doing so, invite your own. Number 3. Successful people take responsibility. Unsuccessful people blame others. Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely, because this is one of the most crucial lessons in life. If you want to achieve greatness, if you want to step into the life you've always dreamed of, then you need to embrace this principle with every fiber of your being. Successful people take responsibility for their lives, while unsuccessful people blame others. Now, I know this might feel uncomfortable for some of you to hear. Taking responsibility means looking in the mirror, doesn't it? It means facing yourself with honesty, and that's not always easy. But let me tell you something. The moment you stop pointing fingers and start pointing thumbs, the moment you say it's on me, that's the moment your life begins to change. So buckle up, my friends, because we're about to go deep into this concept. By the end of this, you won't just understand why responsibility is the cornerstone of success. You'll feel fired up to take full control of your life. The first thing you need to understand is that taking responsibility is not about blame, it's about empowerment. When you blame someone else for your problems, what are you really saying? You're saying, I'm powerless. You're saying, I'm at the mercy of circumstances. But when you take responsibility, you reclaim your power. You say, I may not have caused this situation, but I control how I respond to it. Here's an example. Imagine you're late to an important meeting because of traffic. What's your reaction? Do you say, it's the city's fault for not fixing the roads? Or do you say, next time I'll leave earlier? One response gives your power away. The other takes it back. Taking responsibility is like holding the steering wheel of your life. You can't control every bump in the road, but you can always decide how you steer. Let's talk about blame for a moment. Blame is seductive, isn't it? It's easy. It feels good in the moment. When something goes wrong, it's tempting to say, it's their fault. Your boss, your partner, your upbringing, the economy. But here's the truth. Blame is a dead end. It doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't move you forward. It just keeps you stuck. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone blame their way to success? Have you ever heard a successful entrepreneur say, I built this company by complaining about the government? No. Successful people don't waste their energy on blame because they know it's a distraction. Every minute you spend blaming is a minute you're not solving the problem. Successful people understand this. They ask themselves, what can I do right now to make this better? That's the mindset you need to cultivate. Now, here's the paradox. When you take full responsibility for your life, you actually feel freer. Why? Because you're no longer waiting for someone else to fix things. You're not waiting for the perfect boss, the perfect economy, or the perfect partner. You realize that you are in control. Think of a pilot. A pilot doesn't sit in the cockpit and say, well, I hope the weather is nice today, or we're doomed. No, they plan, they prepare, they adjust. They take responsibility for getting that plane to its destination no matter what. That's the mindset of a successful person. They're the pilot of their own life. When you embrace responsibility, you stop being a passenger and start being the pilot. And let me tell you, that's the most liberating feeling in the world. Now, I want to address something that holds so many people back. The victim mentality. This is the mindset that says, life is happening to me, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's the belief that the cards you've been dealt determine your destiny. But here's the truth. Life is not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. Yes, some people face harder challenges than others. Yes, life can be unfair. But the most successful people in history, people like Oprah Winfrey, Nelson Mandela, and Helen Keller, didn't let their circumstances define them. They chose to take responsibility for their lives, no matter how tough things got. Let me ask you this. Are you willing to let your circumstances dictate your future? Or are you ready to rise above them and take control? Here's another big difference between successful and unsuccessful people. Unsuccessful people make excuses, while successful people find solutions. An unsuccessful person says, I can't lose weight because I don't have time to exercise. A successful person says, I'll wake up 30 minutes earlier to fit in a workout. An unsuccessful person says, I can't start a business because I don't have enough money. A successful person says, what can I do with the resources I have? Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your goals. But every solution you find is a step closer to breaking through. So ask yourself, are you building walls or bridges? Now, I want to challenge you with something I call the mirror test. Tonight, when you're brushing your teeth, look yourself in the mirror and ask, am I taking full responsibility for my life? Be honest with yourself. Are there areas where you've been blaming others? Are there problems you've been avoiding instead of tackling head-on? This is not about beating yourself up. It's about taking ownership, because the moment you say, this is on me, is the moment you can start to change it. And here's the beautiful thing. When you take responsibility, you gain the power to rewrite your story. You stop being the victim of your circumstances and start being the hero of your life. Let's talk about relationships for a moment. Whether it's your partner, your family, or your colleagues, taking responsibility is just as important in your interactions with others. Unsuccessful people blame their partners for every argument. It's his fault, we're always fighting. She never listens to me. But successful people look inward. They ask, what role am I playing in this? How can I communicate better? What can I do to improve this relationship? Taking responsibility doesn't mean taking all the blame. It means owning your part and doing your best to make things better. Imagine how much stronger your relationships could be if both people adopted this mindset. I want to share a story about a man named Viktor Frankl. Frankl is a Holocaust survivor who endured unimaginable suffering in Nazi concentration camps. He lost his family, his freedom, and nearly his life. But in the midst of all that horror, he discovered something profound. Even when everything is taken from you, you still have the power to choose your attitude. Frankl chose to take responsibility for how he responded to his circumstances. He refused to let hatred consume him. Instead, he focused on finding meaning and purpose even in the darkest moments. After the war, he went on to write one of the most influential books of all time, Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl's story is a powerful reminder that no matter how dire your situation, you always have a choice. You can blame the world, or you can take responsibility for how you respond, and in that choice lies your freedom. So, how can you start taking responsibility today? Stop blaming. The next time something goes wrong, resist the urge to point fingers. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do to make this better? Own your decisions. Recognize that every choice you make, big or small, shapes your future. Take ownership of your decisions and commit to making better ones. Focus on what you can control. You can't control the weather, the economy, or other people's actions, but you can control your attitude, your effort, and your perspective. Focus on those. Learn from mistakes. Taking responsibility doesn't mean being perfect. It means learning from your missteps and using them as stepping stones to success. My friends, taking responsibility is not just a habit, it's a way of life. It's the foundation of success, the key to freedom, and the path to becoming the person you were meant to be. Are you ready to step into that responsibility? Are you ready to take control of your life and your future? The choice is yours, and I know you have what it takes to make it. Now go out there and own it. Number 4. Successful people embrace change. Unsuccessful people fear it. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because this one is a game changer. If there's one truth about life that you can take to the bank, it's this: everything changes. The seasons change, the economy changes, technology changes, your relationships change, and guess what? You change too. Change is inevitable. It's constant. It's the only guarantee in life apart from time passing. The question isn't whether things will change. The question is, how will you respond to change? Successful people embrace change. They see it as an opportunity to grow, to innovate, to step into a new and better version of themselves. They don't run from it. They don't fight it. They lean into it. They understand that resisting change is like trying to hold back the tide. It's a losing battle. Unsuccessful people, on the other hand, fear change. They resist it, they complain about it, and they cling to the way things used to be, even when the world around them has already moved on. Today, I want to talk to you about the incredible power of embracing change. By the time we're done, you're going to feel so inspired, so ready to take on whatever life throws at you that you'll actually start looking up for change and welcoming it like an old friend. Because when you embrace change, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Let's start by understanding the root of this fear. Why do so many people resist change? It's simple. It's uncomfortable. Change pushes you out of your comfort zone. It forces you to face uncertainty, to take risks, and to let go of the familiar. And as human beings, we're wired to seek comfort, but here's the truth: nothing grows in comfort. Think about a seed. It has to crack open to grow into a tree. That process isn't comfortable, but it's necessary. The same goes for you. Growth requires discomfort. It requires letting go of what's safe and familiar to reach for what's possible. Take the story of Steve Jobs, for example. Back in 1985, he was fired from Apple, the very company he co-founded. Now he could have resisted that change. He could have let it define him, become bitter, and blamed everyone else. But instead, he embraced it. He used that time to start NXT and Pixar, two companies that would go on to shape the future. When he eventually returned to Apple, he brought with him the innovation and vision that transformed the company into the giant it is today. If Steve Jobs had feared change, the world might never have seen the iPhone, and Apple might not have become what it is. Successful people understand that change is not something to fear, it's something to celebrate. Why? Because change is the catalyst for growth. Every major breakthrough, every significant achievement, every leap forward in life happens because of change. Let's look at one of the greatest innovators of all time, Thomas Edison. Do you know how many times he failed before successfully inventing the light bulb? Thousands. Every failure was a change, a pivot, an adjustment, a new direction. Edison didn't fear those changes, he embraced them. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset of someone who sees change as an opportunity, not a threat. Now think about your own life. How many times has a change, something you didn't plan for or even want at the time, turned out to be a blessing in disguise? Maybe it was losing a job that pushed you to find something better. Maybe it was a breakup that led you to meet the love of your life. Change is the universe's way of moving you towards something greater. Don't resist it. Embrace it. Unsuccessful people fear change because they're too attached to the past. They romanticize the good old days and resist moving forward. But here's the thing. The past is a place to learn from, not a place to live in. If you're always looking backward, you'll miss the opportunities right in front of you. Consider the story of Blockbuster. At its peak, Blockbuster was the king of video rentals. But when streaming technology started to emerge, Blockbuster resisted change. They clung to their old business model and dismissed Netflix as a passing trend. We all know how that story ended. Netflix embraced change, and today it's a global entertainment powerhouse, while Blockbuster is a distant memory. Now ask yourself, where in your life are you clinging to the past? What opportunities are you missing because you're afraid to let go of what used to be? Write it down, face it, and then make the decision to move forward. Adaptability is one of the greatest strengths you can develop. Successful people are like water. They flow around obstacles, they adjust to their environment, and they keep moving forward no matter what. They don't get stuck because they're flexible. One of the best examples of adaptability is Walt Disney. Early in his career, Disney faced bankruptcy and had his first successful character, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, stolen from him. Instead of giving up, he adapted. He created a new character, Mickey Mouse, and the rest is history. Disney's ability to embrace change and adapt to challenges is what built an empire that continues to inspire millions around the world. So here's the question: how adaptable are you? When life throws you a curveball, do you crumble or do you adjust? Start training yourself to see change as an opportunity to pivot, to innovate, to grow. Every change, no matter how challenging, carries within it the seed of opportunity. Successful people are experts at finding that opportunity. They look at every situation and ask, what's the gift here? What's the lesson? What's the opportunity? Take Oprah Winfrey as an example. Early in her career, she was demoted from a news anchor position because her bosses thought she was unfit for television. That could have been the end of her story. But Oprah embraced the change. She took a new role hosting a daytime talk show, and that role became the launchpad for her legendary career. Today, she's one of the most influential people in the world, and it all started because she embraced change. What opportunities are hiding in the changes you're resisting right now? Look for them. Dig deep. I promise you they're there. The way you think about change determines how you respond to it. If you see change as a threat, you'll resist it. But if you see it as an adventure, as a chance to grow and learn, you'll embrace it. Here's an exercise for you. Think about a change you're currently facing. Now write down 3 positive outcomes that could come from that change. Maybe it's a chance to learn a new skill, to meet new people, or to grow stronger. Whatever it is, focus on the possibilities, not the fears. Finally, surround yourself with people who embrace change. Success leaves clues, and when you're around people who see change as an opportunity, their mindset will rub off on you. Look for mentors, friends, and colleagues who are constantly growing, adapting, and innovating. Learn from them. Let their courage and vision inspire you. So here's my challenge to you. Starting today, decide to become someone who embraces change. Decide that you will no longer fear the unknown, but will step boldly into it. When change comes knocking, don't slam the door. Open it wide and say, "What's next?" Because here's the truth, my friends. Change is not your enemy. It's your ally. It's the force that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. Embrace it. Use it. And watch as your life transforms in ways you never imagined. Number 5. Successful people have long-term vision. Unsuccessful people focus on immediate gratification. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're diving into one of the most defining traits of successful people. Their ability to look beyond the moment, beyond the day, and even beyond the year. It's their long-term vision that propels them forward when others give up. It's their ability to think years into the future, to see the bigger picture, and to work for something that may not pay off immediately but will reward them handsomely down the road. On the flip side, unsuccessful people, they chase after short-term rewards. They want it now. They want the quick fix, the instant gratification, the immediate payoff. But here's the truth. Success rarely, if ever, happens overnight. It's built over time, brick by brick, through patience, persistence, and a crystal clear vision of the future. So today we're going to explore what it means to have a long-term vision. By the end of this, you'll understand why it's the secret weapon of successful people, and you'll feel ready, eager, to embrace the long game in your own life. Let's start with this. Successful people play chess, not checkers. What do I mean by that? Chess players think multiple moves ahead. They're not focused on what's happening right now. They're focused on how today's moves set them up for tomorrow's success. Checkers players, they react to the board in front of them, living moment to moment. Take Warren Buffett, for example. Do you think one of the richest men in the world built his fortune by chasing quick wins? Absolutely not. Buffett is the epitome of long-term thinking. He's famous for saying someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Buffett didn't buy stocks looking for an immediate payoff. He invested in companies he believed in, companies that would grow over decades. That's long-term vision in action. Now ask yourself, are you playing chess or checkers in your life? Are you planting trees for the future, or are you just looking for shade today? Here's a truth you need to embrace. Success requires sacrifice. It requires you to trade what you want right now for what you want most. It's the ability to say, no, I don't need this now because I'm working towards something greater. Think about the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment. In the 1960s, researchers offered children a choice. 1 marshmallow now or 2 marshmallows if they could wait 15 minutes. The kids who resisted the temptation and waited for the 2 marshmallows went on to have higher SAT scores, better health, and more successful careers. Why? Because they understood delayed gratification. Successful people are willing to endure discomfort today to enjoy success tomorrow. They skip the party to study for the exam. They pass on the fancy car to invest in their future. They say no to short-term pleasure so they can say yes to long-term goals. Let's talk about the fuel that keeps successful people going. Purpose. When you have a long-term vision, you're not just going through the motions. You're not just clocking in and out. You're working towards something bigger, something meaningful. Look at Martin Luther King Jr. His vision wasn't about short-term gains. He didn't fight for civil rights because he thought change would come overnight. His dream was for future generations, for his children and their children to live in a world of equality. That vision gave him the strength to face unimaginable challenges. What's your vision? What's your why? If you don't have one yet, take time to find it. Because when you have a vision that excites you, that lights a fire in your belly, no obstacle can stop you. Now let's flip the coin. What happens when you focus on immediate gratification? You might feel good in the moment, but you pay the price later. Think about credit card debt. How many people swipe their cards for things they don't need, thinking, I'll worry about it later? And then later comes, and they're drowning in debt, unable to build the future they want because they're stuck paying for the past. Unsuccessful people live in the moment, not because they're present, but because they're unwilling to delay their desires. They eat the marshmallow now, only to regret it later. Don't let short-term pleasure rob you of long-term success. Every time you're faced with a choice, ask yourself, does this move me closer to my vision or does it pull me away from it? Successful people understand the magic of the compound effect, the idea that small, consistent actions over time lead to massive results. Think about it this way. If you invest $10 a day at an 8% return, you'll have over $700,000 in 40 years. That's the power of compounding, but it only works if you're patient, if you're willing to play the long game. Take Benjamin Franklin as an example. Did you know he started saving and investing at a young age? Franklin understood that wealth wasn't built overnight. It was built through consistent effort and discipline. By the time he died, Franklin's investments were funding scholarships, libraries, and public works. Success works the same way. Every workout, every study session, every hour of focused work, it all compounds. It might not feel like much today, but over time it builds something extraordinary. Let's talk about a man whose long-term vision changed the world. Thomas Edison. Edison didn't invent the light bulb overnight. It took him over 1,000 failed attempts. Can you imagine if Edison had been focused on immediate gratification? If he'd given up after the 10th or even the 100th failure? We'd still be living in the dark. Edison's vision wasn't just about creating a light bulb, it was about bringing light to the world, about revolutionizing how people lived. That vision kept him going, failure after failure, until he succeeded. Now think about J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she was a single mother on welfare, writing in cafes. She faced rejection after rejection from publishers. But Rowling had a vision. She believed in her story, and she kept going. Today, she's one of the most successful authors of all time. So how do you develop a long-term vision? Start by asking yourself these questions. What do I want my life to look like in 10, 20, or even 30 years? What legacy do I want to leave behind? What kind of person do I want to become? Write your answers down. Be specific. Paint a picture so vivid that you can see it, feel it, and even smell it. Then break it down into smaller goals. What can you do today, this week, this month to move closer to that vision? Successful people don't just dream, they plan, they set milestones, they track their progress, they adjust when needed. And most importantly, they stay committed. Let's be honest, we live in a world designed to distract us. Social media, instant messaging, endless streaming. It's all pulling us toward immediate gratification. But successful people tune out the noise. They stay focused on their vision. Steve Jobs was a master of this. He didn't waste time chasing trends or getting distracted by what others were doing. Jobs had a clear vision for Apple, to create beautifully designed, user-friendly technology. That focus is what turned Apple into one of the most valuable companies in the world. If Jobs could stay focused in a fast-paced, ever-changing industry, so can you. Turn off the distractions. Focus on your vision. Stay the course. Here's the best part. When you stick to your long-term vision, the rewards are sweeter than anything immediate gratification can offer. It's not just about the money, the accolades, or the achievements. It's about the person you become in the process. When you work toward a long-term goal, you develop discipline, resilience, and a deep sense of purpose. You become someone who can weather storms, overcome obstacles, and achieve greatness. So my friends, I ask you, are you willing to trade short-term comfort for long-term success? Are you ready to embrace the long game, to think bigger, and to dream bolder? Because if you are, there's nothing you can't achieve. The future is yours to create. The only question is, will you start today? Number 6. Successful people invest in themselves. Unsuccessful people stay stagnant. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a hard truth. You are your greatest asset, or you are your greatest liability. The difference lies in one simple choice, whether you decide to grow or stay exactly where you are. Successful people understand this at their core. They know the importance of investing in themselves. They know that the returns on self-investment are exponential. But unsuccessful people, they stay stagnant. They do the same things day in and day out, expecting life to magically get better. Well, newsflash. Life doesn't reward laziness. It rewards growth. It rewards those who push themselves, who seek out knowledge, who take the time to sharpen their skills, develop their character, and build their mindset. So I'm asking you right now, why wouldn't you invest in yourself? Why would you choose to stay stagnant when the opportunities to grow are right in front of you? Imagine this. You have $1,000 to invest. Would you put it in a business that's guaranteed to fail, or would you put it in a business with limitless potential for growth? Your answer is obvious. Yet so many people refuse to make that same decision when it comes to themselves. When you invest in yourself, you're putting resources, time, money, energy, into something that will pay dividends for the rest of your life. Whether it's learning a new skill, developing your mindset, or improving your health, the return is unmatched. Take Andrew Carnegie, for example. He was one of the richest men in history, but he started out as a poor boy working in a factory. How did he rise to the top? He invested in himself. Carnegie once said, "Investing in yourself is the best investment you will ever make. It will not only improve your life, it will improve the lives of all those around you." He read voraciously. He sought mentors. He never stopped learning. So, what about you? Are you making that same choice? Or are you letting your potential sit idle like an engine that's never started? Here's the truth about growth. It's not comfortable, it's not convenient, and it's definitely not easy. But it's necessary. Successful people understand this. They're willing to give up short-term pleasures for long-term rewards. They wake up early to read, to work out, to study. They skip the binge-watching sessions to focus on their goals. They spend their money on books, courses, and mentors instead of frivolous entertainment. Think about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Before he became a world-renowned bodybuilder, actor, and politician, he was just a young man in Austria with a dream. Arnold worked tirelessly, training for hours every day, studying business and English at night, and consuming every resource he could to improve himself. He knew that success wouldn't come knocking at his door. He had to build it, brick by brick, through self-investment. Now ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice for your growth? Are you willing to give up comfort? Convenience? Are you willing to put in the hard work? Now let's talk about the other side of the coin, stagnation. It's the silent killer of dreams. Unsuccessful people cling to their comfort zones like a life raft, not realizing that it's actually dragging them under. They don't read books. They don't seek new challenges. They don't upgrade their skills. And then they wonder why life feels stagnant, why opportunities pass them by, why they're stuck in the same place year after year. Why do people stay stagnant? Fear. Fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of change. But here's the thing. Stagnation is far scarier than growth. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. Don't let fear keep you stuck. Ask yourself, do I want to look back on my life with regret, knowing I could have done more, been more, achieved more? Or do I want to look back with pride, knowing I gave it my all? Let's look at some real-world examples of people who changed their lives by investing in themselves. Oprah Winfrey didn't come from privilege. She grew up in poverty, facing unimaginable challenges. But Oprah didn't let her circumstances define her. She invested in her education, her skills, her personal growth. She read books, studied people, and worked tirelessly to improve herself. Today, she's one of the most influential people in the world, and it all started with a decision to grow. Then there's Benjamin Franklin, one of America's founding fathers. Franklin was a lifelong learner. He famously created a personal development plan, focusing on improving his character, his knowledge, and his skills. Franklin didn't have YouTube or online courses, but he found ways to learn through books, mentors, and hands-on experience. That commitment to self-investment made him one of the most respected and accomplished men of his time. If they can do it, so can you. So what does it mean to invest in yourself? It starts with these 3 pillars. Knowledge. Read books, take courses, listen to podcasts, and seek mentors. Successful people are lifelong learners. They understand that knowledge is power, and they actively seek it out. Health. You can't perform at your best if you're not taking care of your body and mind. Exercise, eat well, and prioritize mental health. Remember, your body is the vehicle for your dreams. Skills, the world is changing fast. If you're not upgrading your skills, you're falling behind. Whether it's learning a new language, mastering a tool, or improving your communication, make skill building a priority. Which of these areas are you neglecting? Where can you start investing today? Do you know what's more expensive than investing in yourself? Staying stagnant. Stagnation costs you opportunities, relationships, and financial growth. It costs you confidence and self-respect. It costs you the life you could have had. Imagine you're in a race, but instead of running, you're standing still. Everyone else is moving forward, passing you by. That's what happens when you refuse to grow. Are you willing to pay that price? Are you willing to settle for mediocrity when greatness is within your reach? Now that you understand the importance of self-investment, the question is, how do you start? Set goals. What do you want to achieve? Define your goals clearly and specifically. Create a plan. Break your goals into actionable steps. What books will you read? What courses will you take? Take action. Start today. Even small steps add up over time. Remember, the best investment is the one you actually make. When you invest in yourself, you transform your life. You become more confident, more capable, more resilient. You attract opportunities and people who align with your goals. You create a ripple effect, inspiring others to grow alongside you. So I'll ask you again, why wouldn't you invest in yourself? Why wouldn't you do everything in your power to become the best version of yourself? The choice is yours. You can stay where you are, or you can start growing. You can settle for mediocrity, or you can strive for greatness. What will it be? Number 7. Successful people manage their emotions. Unsuccessful people let emotions control them. Life is full of emotions. We all feel anger, frustration, joy, excitement, fear. Every emotion you can think of. The difference between the successful and the unsuccessful, though, is not whether they experience these emotions, but how they handle them. Let's get real. Life is not always easy. We all face challenges that test our patience, our strength, and our ability to manage our feelings. You've probably been in situations where your emotions tried to take over. Maybe you were furious at someone who wronged you, or maybe fear almost stopped you from going after that big opportunity. Those are natural reactions, but the key is in how you respond. Successful people know that emotions are just signals. They don't let them control their lives. They respond to emotions, they don't react. Here's a powerful truth. You are not your emotions. Emotions are temporary, but how you respond to them defines who you are. The successful people understand that emotions are fleeting. They don't let a bad mood, anger, or frustration steer their ship. Instead, they choose to stay calm, stay focused, and stay strategic. Consider this for a moment. How often do you find yourself reacting to situations with anger or frustration, only to realize later that you could have handled things differently? Those reactions can cost you relationships, opportunities, or worse, your peace of mind. When you're caught in the grip of emotion, you're not thinking clearly. You're not making decisions from a place of wisdom, but from a place of immediate, raw feeling. Successful people, on the other hand, have developed a skill known as emotional intelligence, EQ. They know that emotional intelligence is the ability to identify, understand, and manage your emotions and the emotions of others. It's not about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. Imagine being able to face any challenge, any setback, and stay calm, composed, and in control. That's what emotional intelligence does for you. It gives you the ability to stay grounded, even when things are chaotic around you. Why is emotional intelligence so important for success? Because emotions affect everything. They affect how you communicate, how you negotiate, how you lead, and how you build relationships. When you can stay in control of your emotions, you can make better decisions. You can communicate with clarity and confidence. You can lead with strength and inspire others because your emotions don't get in the way of your action. Let's break this down. Anger. What happens when you let anger control you? You might say something you regret, or do something that sabotages your future. But if you can pause, take a breath, and reflect for just a moment, that anger loses its power over you. You can then make a decision that moves you forward, rather than holding you back. Now, let's talk about fear. Fear is an emotion that paralyzes many people. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish. These fears can stop you from taking action, from going after what you really want in life. But when you learn to manage that fear, when you recognize it for what it is, a feeling that doesn't have to control you, you can step out and take action even when you feel scared. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is an opportunity to grow. Successful people know this, and that's why they face their fears head-on every single day. In contrast, unsuccessful people allow their emotions to dictate their choices. They let anger cloud their judgment, they let fear stop them in their tracks, and they let frustration control their actions. And guess what happens? They get stuck. They stay in the same place. They don't move forward. They don't grow. But you can break free from this. You can take charge of your emotions and transform your life. Here's a quick exercise you can do right now to practice managing your emotions. Pause for 10 seconds before you react. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful. When you're in a tense situation, when you feel your emotions start to rise, pause. Take a deep breath. Count to 10. That's enough time to reset your mind, to regain control, and to respond in a way that moves you forward. I guarantee that this small pause will change the way you react to challenges and will put you on the path to success. Remember, you don't have to be a slave to your emotions. You have the power to choose your response. And by mastering your emotions, you open the door to the life you've always wanted. Number 8. Successful people focus on growth. Unsuccessful people focus on comfort. Comfort zones. They're dangerous, aren't they? We all love our comfort zones. They feel safe, they feel familiar. But here's the harsh truth. Nothing grows in the comfort zone. If you want to become the best version of yourself, if you want to succeed at the highest level, you must leave that zone behind. Think about it. Successful people are not afraid of discomfort. In fact, they welcome it. They understand that growth comes from facing challenges, from pushing past their limits, and from stepping into the unknown. They're constantly seeking ways to improve, to learn, to expand their horizons. They thrive in discomfort because they know that discomfort equals growth. A tree stops growing the moment it's uprooted, but when it's rooted in soil, it continues to grow. Through storms, through changing seasons, through the challenges of life. That's what you need to do. You need to plant your roots in growth, in learning, in pushing yourself beyond what's comfortable. When you do that, you'll start to see results you never imagined possible. Unsuccessful people, on the other hand, focus on comfort. They shy away from challenges, they avoid risks, and they stick to what they know. They avoid the hard work, the learning, the sacrifices that come with growth. They choose the easy path, but guess what? The easy path doesn't lead to success. It leads to mediocrity. Let me tell you this, success does not come to those who take the easy way out. Success is earned by those who are willing to get uncomfortable. Those who step out of their comfort zones and say, I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to try something new. I'm not afraid to face the unknown. These are the people who rise above the ordinary. These are the people who achieve extraordinary results. Let me give you a metaphor. Think of a rocket launch. When a rocket takes off, it faces resistance. It faces wind, friction, and gravity, but it keeps going. It pushes through the discomfort, the challenge, the struggle, because it knows the destination is worth it. It knows that the discomfort is part of the journey. And once that rocket breaks free of the atmosphere, it soars. That's what you need to do. You need to be willing to push through the tough moments, the resistance, the discomfort. The rewards on the other side will be more than worth it. Here's the truth. Growth doesn't happen by accident. You must intentionally choose growth. You must seek out the discomfort that leads to learning and development. You must be willing to take risks, to try new things, and to challenge yourself every single day. So what's one action you can take right now to push yourself out of your comfort zone? It could be something small. Making that difficult phone call, signing up for a public speaking course, starting that business you've been thinking about for years. It doesn't matter how big or small the action is. What matters is that you take action. You break free from comfort and move toward growth. I want you to do this. This week, do one thing that scares you. Step into discomfort. Try something new. Put yourself in a situation where you feel uncertain, where you feel challenged. That's where the magic happens. That's where growth begins. Remember this. Success is not found in comfort. Success is found in the courage to grow. If you want to achieve something great, something extraordinary, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You have to embrace the challenges, the risks, and the discomfort, because that's the only way you'll ever grow. So what's it going to be? Will you stay in your comfort zone, or will you step out and begin your journey of growth? The choice is yours. Step into your greatness. Break free from comfort. Embrace growth. The world is waiting for you to become the best version of yourself. Number 9. Successful people have gratitude. Unsuccessful people complain. Gratitude is the foundation of a successful mindset. It's the secret sauce that successful people understand and utilize to their advantage. Why? Because gratitude is the energy that fuels abundance, while complaining is the energy that fuels lack. Successful people know that the more they focus on what they already have, the more they attract into their lives. Unsuccessful people, however, focus on what they don't have. And the more they focus on what's missing, the more they feel trapped in a cycle of scarcity. Gratitude is not just a feel-good concept. It's a powerful mindset that can transform your entire life. When you practice gratitude, you rewire your brain. You retrain your mind to focus on what's working, what's going right, and what you can build on. This shift in focus doesn't just make you feel better, it makes you better, it makes your life better, and it opens the doors to greater success. Let's break this down. When you focus on what you have, your mind looks for more things to be grateful for. You start to notice all the blessings in your life, the people who support you, the opportunities you've already received, your health, your passions, your experiences, and even the lessons from your failures. Gratitude shifts your attention away from what you lack and puts it squarely on what you have. And in doing so, you amplify abundance. On the flip side, when you complain, you do the exact opposite. Complaining focuses your attention on what's wrong, what's missing, what's unfair, and what you don't have. And when you focus on those things, your brain keeps scanning for more things to complain about. It's a cycle of negativity. The more you complain, the more you find reasons to stay stuck. The more you stay stuck, the more you convince yourself that success is out of reach. And guess what? The universe doesn't respond to complaints, it responds to your energy, to your mindset. If you want more success, you must change your mindset. Here's the science of it. Neuroscience shows us that gratitude rewires the brain. When you practice gratitude, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals that make you feel happy and content. But here's the kicker. Over time, practicing gratitude changes the neural pathways in your brain. Your brain starts to automatically look for things to be grateful for. This is why successful people seem to have more success. They've trained their brains to notice opportunities, to spot abundance, and to attract the things that make them successful. If you've ever felt like life just wasn't going your way, or like you were stuck in a rut, it might be because you've been focusing too much on what's missing, rather than on what's already there. Gratitude is the antidote to scarcity, to lack, to hopelessness. It's the tool that shifts you from frustration to empowerment, from dissatisfaction to fulfillment. Let's take a moment to really consider what gratitude does for you. When you wake up each day with a sense of appreciation, everything shifts. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. You feel inspired to take action because you're not bogged down by negativity. You start to attract the people, the resources, and the circumstances that align with your success. So what does this mean for you, the person listening right now? You can start practicing gratitude right now. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler you make it, the more powerful it becomes. Every morning, take a moment to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They can be big or small. Your family, your health, your job, your dreams, your ability to walk, or even the simple fact that you have breath in your lungs. 3 things every single day. Why? Because gratitude is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And when you consistently focus on gratitude, your life will begin to transform. Your mindset will shift. The opportunities you've been waiting for will appear, and you'll find yourself moving forward faster than you ever thought possible. I challenge you to try this for the next 30 days. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each morning and watch how your life begins to change. You will begin to see things differently. You will become the person who attracts success because you've shifted your focus from scarcity to abundance, from complaints to celebration. Don't just do this for a week. Don't give up after a few days. Commit to making gratitude a habit for the next 30 days, and I promise you, you'll begin to experience a whole new level of success, happiness, and fulfillment in your life. It all starts with gratitude. Number 10. Successful people take action. Unsuccessful people wait for perfect conditions. There is no perfect time. There is no perfect moment. There is no ideal condition that will make you feel 100% ready to take action. Successful people understand this fundamental truth. They know that there will always be challenges, always be uncertainties, always be obstacles to overcome. But they don't wait for everything to align perfectly before taking action. They take action despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, despite the imperfection. They take action because they know that success comes not from waiting, but from doing. Perfection is the enemy of progress. You don't need to wait until everything is perfect to start. In fact, if you're waiting for everything to be perfect, you're never going to take action. You're going to be stuck in analysis paralysis, waiting for that perfect moment that will never come. Successful people don't wait for the stars to align. They get started, and they learn along the way. They know that action creates momentum. They know that even the smallest step forward is better than sitting and waiting for conditions to be perfect. Look at any successful entrepreneur, leader, or creator. Most of them started with nothing. They didn't wait for ideal conditions. They didn't wait for the perfect resources, the perfect team, or the perfect idea. They acted with what they had, where they were, and made it work. They built their success step by step, and each small action took them closer to their goals. Take the example of Steve Jobs. When he started Apple, he didn't have the resources or the perfect conditions that you might think. He didn't wait for a massive budget, for the perfect manufacturing conditions, or for the right talent to fall into his lap. He started with an idea, vision, and a lot of determination. He built the first Apple computer in his garage with limited resources and zero guarantees of success. But he didn't wait for everything to be perfect. He took action. And that action led to one of the most successful companies in history. Or think of Oprah Winfrey. She didn't wait for the perfect TV show or perfect network to come along. She started small. She took action. She faced rejection, criticism, and failure along the way. But each setback was just another reason to keep going, to keep improving, and to take even more action. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's where success is built step by step, day by day. If you want to get to where you want to go, you need to take action. Don't wait for the perfect conditions to arrive, because they never will. The perfect time is right now. The perfect conditions are the ones you create by taking action. So what are you going to do today? What small, imperfect action can you take toward your goal? It doesn't matter if you don't have all the answers or if everything isn't perfectly in place. What matters is that you start. What matters is that you move forward, even if you don't feel 100% ready. Because readiness doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. You don't have to wait for the perfect conditions to get started. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. The perfect time to act is always now. Take one step today toward your goal. It doesn't matter how big or small that step is. Just take action. It could be signing up for that course, reaching out to a mentor, starting that business plan, or even just making that first phone call. Whatever it is, take action today. Remember, success is not for the people who wait, it's for the people who act. It's for the people who take imperfect action, who move forward even when they don't feel ready. So go ahead, take that first step. The future you is waiting on the other side of action. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this time together. I know I certainly have. It's been an honor to share these thoughts, these principles, these lessons with you today. I truly believe that life doesn't have to be as difficult as we sometimes make it. If we can just take the simple disciplines day after day and apply them consistently, we can change the trajectory of our lives. And that's what I want for each of you. But before I go, let me leave you with a few of my favorite thoughts, my favorite quotes, that I believe can change your life if you let them. These aren't just words. These are principles, truths that will guide you every single day. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. You see, it's not about making one big decision. It's about making 100 little decisions every day. It's about showing up, doing the work, and staying committed to your goals. It's about doing what others won't, so you can have what others don't. We don't wish it was easy or wish you were better. Look, life will never be perfect. There will always be challenges. There will always be obstacles. But here's the secret. You don't need a perfect life. You need a better you. And the only way to become better is through continuous growth, through the discipline of getting better every single day. Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. If you want to change your life, you've got to change your actions. You've got to change your thoughts. And you've got to change your attitude. Don't wait for the world to change around you. Start by changing yourself, and I'll tell you, the world will start to change with you. The major key to your better future is you. No one's going to do it for you. There's no fairy godmother out there waiting to make all your dreams come true. If you want to achieve something remarkable, it's up to you. You have the power. You have the ability. You have everything you need to succeed right inside of you. The only question is, are you going to use it? Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Success isn't just about wealth, it's about well-being. You have to take care of yourself. You need energy to pursue your dreams. You need a healthy mind, a healthy body, and a healthy spirit. If you're not taking care of your health, you're not taking care of your future. Now, let me thank you all for being here today. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you've taken time out of your busy lives to be a part of this. But let me tell you something, this isn't the end, this is the beginning. What you do with what you've learned today is what matters most. It's about taking action. Because success is not for the people who wait, it's for the people who act. The best way to predict the future is to create it, and I want you to create something great. So I'll leave you with this. The world needs what you've got. Your gifts, your talents, your energy. The world needs your unique contribution. You're capable of more than you think, and I believe in you. So go out there, take action, stay disciplined, and most of all, never stop growing. Always remember, the best is yet to come. Thank you, and may all your dreams come true. Keep going.